The future isn't waiting. It's already happening. And as we stand at the edge of 2026, the world is about to experience transformations that will reshape everything you thought you knew about technology, money, survival, and power itself. Buckle up, because what's coming isn't just change. It's disruption on a scale we've never seen before. Prediction 1. AI agents will run your business. By the end of 2026, 90% of business-to-business buying will be handled by AI agents. Not humans, agents. Invisible algorithms making trillion-dollar purchasing decisions without ever asking for your approval. Companies that invested billions in search engine optimization will watch it all become obsolete overnight. The new game? Agent engine optimization. If your business isn't speaking to AI, you're already invisible. Prediction 2. Your critical thinking is atrophying. Half of all global organizations will require AI-free skills assessments by late 2026. Why? Because we're getting dumber. Generative AI is doing our thinking for us, and our brains are rotting from the inside out. Companies are starting to panic as they realize their employees can't solve problems anymore without asking ChatGPT. The people who can still think independently will become the most valuable asset in any organization. Prediction 3. The global economy slows to a crawl. Global economic growth will limp along at just 2.9% in 2026, well below historical averages. Trade wars, policy uncertainty, and mounting debt will drag down every major economy. Europe will struggle. China will slow. The United States will see the weakest growth in years. The party is over, and the hangover is going to be brutal. Prediction 4. Climate disasters will cost you everything. Extreme weather will become the new normal. La Nina conditions will bring devastating floods to some regions and brutal droughts to others. The northern United States will face record snowfall and freezing temperatures. The South will burn with heat and wildfires. Insurance companies will abandon entire regions. Billion-dollar disasters will stop making headlines because they'll happen every single week. Prediction 5. 318 million people will face starvation. A staggering 318 million people will face crisis-level hunger in 2026, more than double the number from 2019. 2 simultaneous famines are already confirmed in Gaza and Sudan. Conflict, climate change, and collapsing supply chains are creating a perfect storm. Food prices remain at crisis levels even as grocery stores in wealthy nations stay stocked. The inequality isn't just economic anymore, it's existential. Prediction 6. Geopolitical chaos will explode everywhere. From Latin America to the Middle East, from Africa to Eastern Europe, conflicts will intensify. Venezuela will remain a flashpoint threatening to destabilize the entire region. The war in Sudan will continue killing civilians at horrific rates. The Middle East will see overlapping conflicts with no resolution in sight. The Red Sea will remain one of the most dangerous trade corridors on Earth. Ethiopia, Eritrea, and Somalia will edge closer to proxy wars. Nation-states will use cyber attacks as weapons, making private companies collateral damage in wars they never signed up for. Prediction 7. Bitcoin will soar then maybe crash. Bitcoin will hit between $150,000 and $180,000 by the end of 2026. Institutional money will flood into crypto. Ethereum will double. Early holders who bought years ago will finally cash out their gains. But here's the catch. Technical analysts are warning that we might already be in a bear market. The volatility will be insane. Fortunes will be made. Fortunes will be lost. And most people will pick exactly the wrong moment to buy or sell. Prediction 8. Spain will win the World Cup. The 2026 FIFA World Cup will crown Spain as champions. They're unbeaten in 31 consecutive competitive matches and playing the most dominant football the world has seen in years. The tournament will expand to 48 teams across the United States, Canada, and Mexico. Lionel Messi will play his final World Cup, chasing back-to-back titles with Argentina. Kylian Mbappe will break goal-scoring records. And someone you've never heard will become an overnight global superstar. Prediction 9. Insider threats will destroy companies. Insider threats will dominate security breaches in 2026. Disgruntled employees, negligent workers, people selling access to the highest bidder. The call is coming from inside the house. Companies will realize that their biggest security risk isn't hackers on the dark web. It's the person sitting 3 desks away who just got passed over for promotion. Prediction 10. The Ukraine war will define European security. However the war in Ukraine ends, and it might not end in 2026, Europe will be fundamentally changed. Defense spending will skyrocket. New alliances will form. The post-Ukraine security architecture will reshape the continent for generations. Meanwhile, the United States will be distracted, turning its attention to China and leaving Europe to figure out its own defense for the first time in 75 years. Prediction 11. Industrial robots will hit 5.5 million. The installed base of industrial robots will reach 5.5 million units globally. Factories will become increasingly automated. Jobs will disappear not to workers overseas, but to machines in the same building. The robot workers don't complain, don't take breaks, don't form unions, and they're getting smarter every single day. Prediction 12. Energy demand will explode because of AI. AI infrastructure will consume staggering amounts of energy. Data centers will burn through power at unprecedented rates. Countries will scramble to build new capacity. Renewable energy will grow, but not fast enough. Energy prices will spike. Rolling blackouts will become more common in developing nations. The AI revolution runs on electricity, and we don't have enough of it. Prediction 13. Supply chains will tighten again. After years of chaos, global supply chains will start to tighten in 2026. Warehouse vacancy rates will drop. Logistics real estate will become hot property. Transportation costs will soar with double-digit rate hikes as trucking capacity shrinks. Companies will realize that just-in-time inventory was a luxury they can't afford anymore. The new model? Stockpile everything and hope you guess right. Prediction 14. Sovereign AI will trap countries. 35% of countries will lock themselves into region-specific AI platforms using proprietary data. China will have its AI ecosystem. Europe will have another. The United States will dominate a third. Once a country commits to one platform, getting out will be nearly impossible. The digital borders are going up, and they're harder to cross than physical ones. Prediction 15. Healthcare will finally use AI right. AI-powered healthcare will move beyond hype into actual results. Hospitals will use predictive models to forecast patient admissions and manage resources. Virtual assistants will monitor patients with chronic conditions. Remote patient monitoring will evolve from data collection to real intervention. Fewer people will die from preventable readmissions. Healthcare won't be fixed, but it will be measurably better. Prediction 16. Digital twins will run everything. Manufacturing, energy grids. Entire cities will run on digital twins, virtual replicas that simulate and optimize operations in real time. Siemens and other industrial giants will deploy these systems at massive scale. Predictive maintenance will prevent breakdowns before they happen. Energy systems will become more efficient. The physical world and the digital world will blur together until we can't tell them apart anymore. Prediction 17. Social media will be all AI content. In-app revenue from AI-generated content on social platforms will more than double to $7.8 billion. AI will create the videos you watch, the posts you read, the images you share. Human creators will struggle to compete. The line between real and synthetic will disappear completely, and most people won't even notice. Prediction 18. Fertility rates will keep plummeting. Developed nations will face demographic collapse as birth rates continue their historic decline. Aging populations will strain healthcare systems. Labor shortages will intensify. Immigration will become the only solution, but political resistance will grow fiercer. Countries will offer cash incentives for having children. It won't work. The great demographic unwinding is just beginning. Prediction 19. Quantum computing will break encryption. Quantum computers will edge closer to breaking current encryption standards. Companies will scramble to implement quantum-resistant security. Military and intelligence agencies will race to quantum supremacy. The organization that gets there first will be able to crack every secret on Earth. The password protecting your bank account? It might become worthless overnight. Prediction 20. Agentic AI will demand governance. As AI agents gain more autonomy, the demand for governance frameworks will explode. Who's responsible when an AI agent makes a mistake? Who gets sued when it breaks the law? How do you audit a system that makes thousands of decisions per second? These aren't theoretical questions anymore. They're urgent legal problems that no one has figured out how to solve. Here's what all of this means. 2026 isn't just another year on the calendar. It's an inflection point. The technologies we've been experimenting with are going mainstream. The problems we've been ignoring are becoming catastrophes. The systems we relied on are breaking down. Some of these predictions are terrifying. Some are exciting. Most are both at the same time. The question isn't whether these things will happen. The trends are already in motion. The question is, are you ready? Are you prepared for a world where AI makes most decisions? Where climate disasters are weekly occurrences? Where the gap between those who adapt and those who don't becomes an unbridgeable chasm? 2026 will separate the prepared from the unprepared, the informed from the ignorant, the adaptable from the obsolete. The future doesn't care about your comfort. It doesn't wait for you to be ready. It simply arrives, whether you're prepared or not. And it's arriving next year. So, what are you going to do about it? How will you position yourself? What skills will you develop? What relationships will you build? What risks will you take? Because the world of 2026 will reward those who saw it coming and punish those who didn't. The clock is ticking. The changes are accelerating. And there's no pause button. Welcome to 2026. It's going to be one hell of a ride.